Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome back to Board Game Breakfast. Yay! It's Thanksgiving week. Well, if you live in the United States of America anyway. And so there's a lot of things going on. This week's going to be different than most of our weeks. First of all, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we'll be doing all day long, we'll be doing the live testing. So at the beginning of the year, we said we'd do another gaming marathon. We did it kind of already, where we did a whole week of this live game testing, but just in case that's not enough, we're going to do 3 more days this week and 2 days of next week too. So it could just be me against you as the internet, right? So that might be interesting. Or it could be me and Sam and Z. We'll have to wait and see. But you'll see some brand new games that we're testing out over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So come join us live. Also, don't forget, there is the contest from Forbidden Games. So we've been talking about the Extraordinary Adventures Pirates, and you can win this game or all the Kickstarter things or $500. So to find out how to enter that, well, you need to go look at last week's Board Game Breakfast. It tells you how to enter. All the details are there. And we'll be announcing the winner in a week, so come back and check that out. All right, with that being said, let's get to the news. Okay, so first of all, Asmodee has announced a new game called Nosedive. Now, this is based on the Black Mirror episode Nosedive. If you've not seen it, it's an episode in which people go around and give 5-star ratings to each other. So your social status goes up or down based on your star rating. This is an interesting theme and idea, but we don't know much more about the game. It's a social game. It involves an app, and it will be available at Target. So hopefully it's good, but the social thing, I don't know. I'm hoping it's not too light of a game, but we'll see. Portal has announced a loot box you can pre-order. Only 500 of these. Has mini expansions for Robinson Crusoe, Alien Artifacts, Imperial Settlers, 51st State, Hiroshima Hex, and Cry Havoc. Now, before you cry foul and say, wait a minute, how am I supposed to get all this? Apparently, they're going to be also releasing these throughout the year, each of these mini expansions. You just save money now if you get them all through this loot box. They're just like mini things. I don't think any of them are necessary, but they do look like they add some cool things. Renegade has announced a Revolution of 1820 with a super exciting box cover. Seriously, it looks like a Rio Grande box cover. But it's about the election of the 7th president. They're like the first presidential campaign with backbiting and mudslinging. I don't know if that's true or not. It's designed by Stefan Feld. And the description of the game is a chip drafting game. I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds interesting. This one I'm really excited about. New Frontiers has been announced from Rio Grande Games. Now, we talked about this a bit in the past, probably. I've had a chance to play this almost 2 years ago. This is the Race for the Galaxy board game. Now, what this game is, if it hasn't changed from when I played it, is it's half Race for the Galaxy and half Puerto Rico. That's a pretty neat combo, and it worked really well. So I look forward to when this has come out. I don't know, it could be out in a week. It could be out months, but we'll find out. Games Workshop has announced Blackstone Fortress, which is hitting the shelves like almost right away. We already have a copy. Warhammer Quest. This is redone, but done in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Just like Avalon Hill has released Betrayal Legacy, which is out in stores everywhere, but it's a pretty big release, I think, which is why I'm mentioning it. Speaking of Asmodee earlier, they finally have been sold. We announced that there was a sale that was reached where one large group, Eurazo, was selling to another large financial group. I don't think this will change Asmodee much at all. We'll have to wait and see, but the selling price was $1.4 billion, showing that board games are doing okay. And Gray Fox is partnering with King Raccoon, and the first game that they're going to be posting is Tsukiyumi, Full Moon Down. This is a game Sam played it, really likes this one, so it'll be nice to see this one coming from Gray Fox. That's the news. Let's move the Kickstarter.
Hello fellow gamers, I am recording remotely today because I am at BGG-Con. You get to see my lovely hotel room, which is fantastical. But most importantly, I know you guys are here for Kickstarters today, so I got to go into the vendor hall and talk to a bunch of people, and I think I got some pretty cool ones, especially a really cool reprint that's going to happen that I'm going to have towards the end of everything. So let's get started. Featured this week, we have Imagineers. This is by Meeple Games and is for 2 to 4 park owners looking to collect the most fame for their roller coaster park. Players will get to create attractions luring particular types of guests to collect happiness, as well as build roller coasters for thrill seekers looking to spend money in this tile placement game that lasts for about 40 minutes. Now, this is a light Euro-style game that starts at $30, but it also has a deluxe option that increases the player count up to 6. However, if this isn't enough thrill-seeking for you, then maybe Rallyman GT by Holy Grail Games is your jam. This game is for 1 to 6 speedsters looking to push their luck in a race that spans over a modular board system. This challenges players to maneuver their cars across rural, 2-lane roads or winding cities filled with other players for about 60 minutes. Now, this $56 game is a reprint of sorts, as they've pulled the base game mechanics from the older Rallyman game, but they've completely retooled the board and tracks, making this a far cry from the original in my game book. So the next game that has been dubbed the Board Gamers Party Game is Mechanisms by the Daniel Zayas Company. This game is for 1 to 8 hardcore gamers looking to spend about 30 minutes acting out board game mechanisms while other players try to guess what the heck they're doing. It's like a game of charades for those deeply involved in the board game industry. This light party game for only those most knowledgeable gamers starts at about $15, and it was really interesting seeing the industry elements folded into this neatly themed little party game. Up next are expansions and reprints for the week. We're starting with Big City's 20th Anniversary Edition by Mercury Games. This is going to be a limited printing like Container was, and they're going to put the same exact energy that they put behind Container into this with very amazing game pieces that are very, very detailed. The pictures here just do not do the game pieces justice, and they're also going to be adding new content to the game like waterfronts as well as a 5th player. For me, this is a must pick up. However, if you're interested in this game, take a look, as it will only be on Kickstarter and then a limited quantity will go out to stores. Next up, we have Archmaid Ascendant. This is an expansion by Starling Games, and they're adding upgraded wooden components, barriers, and gold foiled spell cards, as well as a whole bunch of new components like places of power and spell cards and cooperative play rules, as well as solo play, which is really awesome. And lastly, we have Hero Realms, the Journeys expansion. Now, this is going to offer a whole slew of new cards, along with playmats that you can purchase and new champions. So if you are interested in Hero Realms, then this is for you. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. So if you are interested in any of the Kickstarters that we saw here today, we're going to be doing a breakdown of those on Fridays at 1 p.m. Central Time. So if you guys are interested in joining in on the conversation, make sure to go to gloryhound.com. That's gloryhound with 2 Ds, because I am not the super cool Gloryhound band. And other than that, I will see you guys all next week for a whole bunch of new Kickstarters.
If you like sci-fi and you like war games, strategic and tactical, all that into this game. War of the Worlds, the England module, a game designed by Arnaud de la Siega, published by DVG. The artwork is fantastic, really creates a great mood and a great narrative. This is a solo game, low complexity. There are 2 ways to win and 3 ways to lose. This is the strategic map, and this is the tactical map. Strategic is you're looking from above the big picture. You see the Martians moving, the army moving slowly. And tactical is the nitty-gritty, boots on the ground, where the Martians are actually attacking you and you are actually defending and or attacking, but with 2 ways to win and 3 ways to lose. So in the sequence of play, you have 7 phases. And depending how you shuffle the cards, in one of those phases, you're going to have an event. Now, depending on the event card you draw and which phase you're on, the outcome is going to be human phase, Martian phase, devastation phase. So how the strategic map works in conjunction with the tactical map is when one of these bad alien guys enters your section where you have your army, then you go to the battle map. The AI is powered by cards which you draw and roll the specially provided dice, and the color that you roll will dictate what alien moves where and how. So with all the cards provided and the 2 dice, your Martians will never move the same way twice. War of the Worlds is easy, deep, and a lot of fun. War of the Worlds, the England module, because they have the Japan one, the France one, and the US East Coast one, is designed by Admiral de la Ciega, published by DVG. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more about war games, please check out my channel.
Hi, Suzanne here with this week's featured board game app. Isle of Skye is a tile-laying game with an intriguing tile market mechanism. Rising development star Digidice has ported the game over to app form, so let's take a look. In Isle of Skye, players build out their Scottish kingdoms using tiles that have a variety of features like roads, terrain types, barrels, livestock, and different buildings. The game uses fairly standard tile placement rules in terms of alignment, but 2 elements set Isle of Skye apart. Firstly, there's a range of scoring tiles, but only 4 are used each game. And they score on this rhythm that allows you to really plan what you want to do, but then you have to figure out how to make the most of the tiles that are actually available. Secondly, the way that you get those tiles is through a keep-kill market. Each player gets 3 tiles, secretly sets prices on 2 of them, and then sets 1 to discard. Balancing your tile pricing is critical because whatever doesn't get purchased by other players, you have to pay for from your own funds, but maybe that's what you want, so you have to set it high enough so you dissuade other purchasers. Isle of Skye is the 2016 Kennerspiel des Jahres winner for good reason. Digidice tackled this app port leveraging their now familiar general kind of interface surroundings. The lovely Clemens Franz art is implemented in full, and the app has a lot of polish. There is a chaptered interactive tutorial that has a bit of personality thrown in, but a very minor nitpick is that the rules are linked to an online PDF. Isle of Skye taps into Asmodee Digital's online play system, and there are 3 different levels of AI to select from. And overall, Digidice tends to do pretty well with AI development, and that's especially important in a game like this because setting those market prices, it's a fairly complex puzzle, and I actually think it's really difficult to mimic human prioritization in an AI for a game like this. I really like that you can manually or randomly select the scoring tiles that are used each game, and it's great that you can tap on them in the middle of your game to refresh your memory, because I have to do that all the time. Overall, the interface is easy to familiarize yourself with, and I think it does a good job of displaying all the game info in a tight space. And because it's digitized and their standard is multi-platform play, you can get the app on Android, iOS, and Steam. Isle of Skye is a game worthy of a strong app port, and Digidice is a great studio to do it. There are little touches like gameplay history, storing multiple games at once, and other features that showcase the thought that really went into the development of this app. I think that the Isle of Skye app really shines as an online game against other human players, and it's definitely worth a look. Give it a try.
So what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? Well, Manny and Suzanne have a podcast for you. You can check that out at dicetower.com, along with lots of other great podcasts. I know I say this all the time, but seriously, there's some really cool stuff, and you can find out all these podcasts on dicetowernetwork.com. So what else is coming? Well, we're going to finish our 12 Games of Christmas series. I have the 12 Games of Christmas kids list. We'll also be doing almost to the end of our top 100 games of all time, top 11 through 20. I've already mentioned that we'll be doing the live testing on Monday through Wednesday, but I will be reviewing several games throughout the week. Kaleidoscope Puzzle, Pokey Dokie, The Lady and the Tiger, Holding On, Life and Death of Billy Kerr, Forenzy, Astro Drive, Roll to the Top, Dynamos, Barely Working, and the hottest and latest expansion for Terraforming Mars, Colonies. So all that stuff is coming out this week, as well as some stuff from Sam and Z. So check out our channel for all of that. Let's keep moving.
Con crud. Don't you hate it? What's a person to do? I mean, you look forward for months to going to these cons and playing games and just having fun with friends, and then you come home and then you spend the next few days all drugged up on stuff and line up in bed and drinking soup and tea and just eat. Is it worth it? I mean, what's a person to do? How do you prevent con crud? And when you get it, there is no ifs here. You get it. And when you get it, what do you do to get rid of it and get out of the funk? You know? Personally, I think it is worth it, because sickness will come and go, but the memories that you have with the friends at the con and meeting old friends that you probably haven't seen in a year, and gaming and making new friends, it pretty much is worth it, isn't it?
Hi, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Gildel, and this is Adventures of Unknown Board Games. And we're back. We're on the road again, Jesse. And we're in Stanton, Virginia. And what did we play this week, Jesse?
We played Mint Works. And it's an action selection game, and you actually wind up buying mints. You don't eat them, you buy them. And then you build buildings, you do constructions, and you buy properties and build things.
Yeah, so it's kind of a action selection / work placement, if you may. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. I like the box is so small. It's awesome. I always carry that on my pocket. What do you think about that game?
That was fun. When we played several times in Frozone.
And we played inside of a train.
Yeah, we played inside of a Pullman car.
Or a business car. Yeah, that was cool. It had a huge table inside of the train. So what did you think about that game? Did you like it?
I liked it. It was easy to learn, not too complicated, and it's unusual because you're using mints to buy things, buy properties.
Yeah, we have another game we played in Mint Delivery. We may talk about that as well. But Mint Works is one of those games that easy to carry in your pocket. You should always have it with you on your bag or stuff. Really great game. I really love it. So, 2 thumbs up?
2 thumbs up, yeah.
Thumbs up. I'll see you guys next time. Happy breakfast, everybody.
Don't eat the mints.
Don't eat the mints.
Hi folks, this is Jonathan for Harsh Opinion, and today's topic is going to be: do you have a personal board game theme that you really hate? And if so, are you still trying to find the holy grail, the exception to the rule by still trying other games that match that theme? For my part, yes. One theme that I hate, it's cowboys. I'm not into cowboys, even if I recently bought Red Dead Redemption. That's video games, that's another topic. But for board games, I found out that most of the cowboys board games are kind of boring. I don't like that period in time, and I really hate that theme in board game. But a couple of weeks ago, I was able to try Western Legend, and it was an amazing experience. It was like the equivalent for cowboys that what Twilight Imperium is for space games. And I asked myself why even try that game, based on the fact that all of the previous Cowboys game I tried before, I really hate, and I'm not in the urge of trying those kind of games. So I'm asking you the question, do you have a personal theme in board games that you really hate? And if so, are you still gonna try those kind of games if you've been asked for? Trying to find the exception to the rule, maybe to try to buy at least one game that fits that theme if your gaming group likes that theme. Please leave your comments in the section below. I'm gonna try to answer them all. Thank you for watching. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, Mike Licio from Solomode Games. Today I received a game that I pledged for a while back on Kickstarter called Robin Hood and the Merry Men. Let me get that out of glare. There we go. Now, this is a game that, first of all, I love this theme. It seems to me that this is a theme that really could be mined more. Are there a lot of Robin Hood games out there I don't know about? I can't think of many. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is that this is a game that has multiple modes of play possible. It says on the box that you can play either semi-co-op, full co-op, or solo, which obviously I have an interest in. And this got me thinking because I have heard a number of complaints about games that try to kind of have it both ways, so to speak, where they have different modes of play. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Is there a particular reason why this might be problematic? I've heard that semi-co-op just in and of itself is problematic, and I've already addressed that earlier, so I don't want to really get into that here. But is it inherently an issue to have a game that tries to present itself with multiple modes of play? I can understand there being a thought that, well, you need to kind of figure out what you want to do and stick with it, that maybe you're not doing any of them particularly well. And perhaps that's true. I haven't had enough experience with games that try to do this to say. There is a game that I have that I really enjoy called Saltlands that also does this, and it even goes into more modes of play. It has a cooperative mode, it has a team mode, it has a competitive mode, it has a solo mode, and while I haven't played all of those different versions of it, the ones I have played, I've quite enjoyed. So I just wanted to kind of get some thoughts onto what the inherent dangers might be behind games that do this. Is it something that you like? Are you willing to give it a shot? I still am. I haven't been burned enough that I'm willing to just dismiss it out of hand, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Can games have it both ways, or do they need to find a way that they want to go and stick with it? If you can let me know in the comments below, I'd be very interested to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.
I love to play cooperative games. Cooperative games are a lot of fun for me. The very first cooperative game that I played that I noticed was Lord of the Rings, the board game from Rhino Says. The one that really took the world by storm was Shadows over Camelot, and then even more so after that was Pandemic. And then there's variations and variations. Many, many cooperative games come out every year, so much that one of the Dice Tower Awards is Best Cooperative Game. There are lots of them, around 20, 30, 40 that are coming out per year. I'm probably underselling how many come out. But I've noticed with these cooperative games a trend in them that I'm not sure I'm on board with, and this is a trend to make the games harder. Now, before 2017, we had two extremely hard cooperative games. We had Ghost Stories, and we had Yggdrasil. These were very difficult games. In fact, I've never won Yggdrasil. Maybe Robinson Crusoe, that's another hard one. But these games were beatable, and it was like, ooh, this is hard, but we can beat them. And they even had harder modes. But if you look at the most popular of all the cooperative games, which is Pandemic for sure, on the easy mode of Pandemic, you might lose your first game or two because you don't know what's going on, but after a while, you'll win those easy games more often than not. Normal games give you more of a challenge, but eventually you'll start winning those, at least some of the time. I don't think you can always win them. I've seen some people say they always win Pandemic on normal mode, and I feel like that's a lie because sometimes the cards just work out and you can't win. Then you play Pandemic on hard mode, and it's hard. And then you can add expansions to make it harder and harder. But games these days, and I just played a new cooperative game, very popular game that just came out, And I was going through saying, this is super hard. Earlier this year, a game I like a lot, Reckoners, extremely hard. And this is on the base level. They're incredibly punishing. They're very difficult. And this is a trend that games have these days where they're extremely difficult. And then you can make them even more difficult. Now, are they beatable? Sure, you have to work really hard, but eventually you'll beat it. And the designers and the people who work in the game say, oh yeah, we can beat these on the normal level, no problem. And then they get much harder later on. But I think this is a mistake. I think that a cooperative game should not necessarily be too easy. There are some cooperative games that are considered easier than others. Castle Panic, the Rising 5 games are easier than other ones. But they're still popular and fun to play. Look at Castle Panic. It's a very extremely popular game, and it's fairly easy compared to most other cooperative games. Why can't these cooperative games be made with a fairly easy level, or at least a normal level, and then get harder and harder and harder? It's easier to make these games harder than it is to make them easy. But for me as a player, this soul-crushing defeat that these games bring gets a little tiring after a while. And I'm not sure that I want to just go in and just lose and lose and lose and then finally you win. Sure, when you win, it's like, yes, we've won. But not everyone's going to have that kind of stamina. And so why are these games hard? Well, I think part of it is when the designers are making these games, they're too close to the game and the playtest groups are playing it over and over and over again. So those playtest groups know how to beat the game. So they'll play it and they'll go, yeah, this is challenging, but not overly so. While a group of new people who've never played it before are going to get their clocks cleaned by the game. Secondly, you also often listen to the fans of a game. A lot of designers will listen to fans. Fans will like, make it hard, make it difficult, add in this crumb, and this makes it hard, this makes it hard. There's 65 ways to lose and only one way to win. And I want new players to like gaming. I want new players to get into gaming, and if they are constantly being beat down by this game, I don't think they're... Some, yes, will be like, I see this as a challenge, I'll take it back and beat it. Instead, they are maybe going to give up and move on to something else. Shadows over Camelot and Pandemic, at their core, are not extremely difficult games. They can be. Both have expansions and things that can be added to them to make them very difficult. And I like them a lot because of that. Because I can bring it out to new people who've not played before and we have a fighting chance. And I don't need to say, oh, well, we have to do this or we're going to lose. But modern games, it seems, are really trending to how hard can we make this game be? That's fantastic. Make the game as hard as you want, but not on the basic level. I want more people to play games, and I think these incredibly punishing, difficult games don't do that as often as they could be. I'm sure people will disagree with me on this one. I feel like a good, popular cooperative game can start at easy and get harder.
Randy and Ellen, we game together.
It's your turn.
Ooh.
Hi, I'm Randy.
I'm Ellen. Hi, board game breakfast patrons.
Patrons of the breakfast hour.
That's what we're going to call you guys.
Sure. We're coming to you from the car because we usually do these videos after the boys go to bed.
Yep.
And they're not in bed, and it's quiet in this car.
Yeah. So
that's it.
It's super relaxing, actually. I'm going to be in here for a while after this. Okay, so we are not holding a board game, if you've noticed.
Yes. We're going to talk about the game that we played that we, liked the most, I would say?
I would say liked the most, yeah.
At our recent convention that we went to, Gamehole Con.
Our first con. It was awesome.
Very nice.
So
Met a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
Played some games, did the vendor hall.
So fun.
Was going to buy Dinosaur Island, but somebody bought it after we came back.
Thanks.
Thanks
a lot. Thank you. So instead we played Coimbra. I was going to say it at the same time. It was going to be cool.
That's not cool, though.
Coimbra.
It's kind of annoying when that happens.
I thought it was going to be funny, but...
Anyway, Coimbra, yes, it was very, very fun, actually.
So fun.
A lot of similar mechanics to Lorenzo. The feel is both kind of Renaissance-y, ish. I don't know. They do have a lot of similar feels. Yeah. Ellen, one of favorites is Lorenzo.
Yes.
I liked Coimbra on first play better, but they're, I don't know, maybe not even better, maybe the same.
Keeping in mind
for different
too,
reasons.
like we picked up the game from the library and sat down and played it as we were learning it, so it was a little bit,
which I don't like to do.
No,
I usually like
yeah.
to be really prepared
Yeah.
and know all the rules and all that first.
so we did kind of like have to really wade through the rule
But I
book.
think we did pretty good.
Quite a lot.
We
We
got
did.
one or two things kind of wrong, but it didn't. I don't think it affected the
Yeah, I don't
gameplay.
think
But
so.
it's really a dice manipulation game. You get to draft dice, and those dice do like 3 different things. The pips do a certain action. The color of the dice does a certain action, and then you turn the dice in to like raise up on a, or you get you turn the dice in for something that does with the color also. So the dice is really cool. It does all these different things.
And you get a huge handful of dice. Like, it's really fun. Lorenzo, and we're going to compare them a lot, has 3 dice that you roll, and you can manipulate these. These are like, you get a whole big handful, and you chuck them, and you all take turns taking a dice at a turn.
Very fun.
I do love it. We did not buy it, and I feel like it's just because it's so close to Lorenzo.
Very close,
I'm sure there's people out there who are like, no, it's not, you idiot. I find that it is, and Lorenzo is like,
Ellen
my
likes Lorenzo
jam.
better, and I'm kind of somewhat impartial, so I guess, you know, no reason to have 2 games that we feel at least.
And maybe we could change our mind tomorrow and buy it. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Stay tuned for the picture of the day.
Hello guys, it's Cardboard Rhino and welcome to one more Rhino Says Yes. Today I'm very excited because I'm gonna recommend you the absolute must-have party game. It's the Crypto. In the Crypto, players compete in 2 teams, with each trying to correctly interpret the coded messages received by their teammates while cracking the codes they intercept from the opposing team. Each team has their own screen, which only they are allowed to look at, with 4 words each in one of these numbered slots from 1 to 4. Every round in each of the teams there is one encryptor, and that player gets a card with a 3-digit code corresponding to the letters of the screen, thus the words. That player needs to give a decoded message with clues so that their team guesses the code. For example, if the words are bird, orchestra, New York, he could write pigeon, violin, and burgers. The tricky part here is that while they want their team to guess it, they also need to make it really hard for the opposing team, as they are noting down as well the same clues and making a guess of the code every time as well. They don't have the 4 words of the home team in front of them, but if the clues are directly referring to the words, like in our example, they would make easy associations or groupings of all the decoded messages describing the same 4 words during the rounds to come, and the opposing team would start guessing the codes correctly. To win the game, you need to either guess the other team's code twice, gaining 2 interception tokens, or the other team to not guess their own codes right twice and be given 2 miscommunication tokens. Also, if you need too much time to do so, the opponent encoder can set a timer to speed things up. The Crypto is really fun and it engages every single player in the group. It's actually not easy and it requires you to choose your words wisely, keeping in mind how the other players will think given the associations with the 4 words, while at the same time making sure to confuse the other team as much as possible. It feels very rewarding when you start to connect the dots, brings you closer to how your friends think, and you're allowed to laugh at them as much as you want for the absurd associations happening in their heads. So Rhino says yes to the Crypto. You absolutely need to add this game to your collection.
Howdy folks, welcome to By the Numbers. My name is Hunter Thomason from the Family Showdown. Each week on By the Numbers, we take a look at a board game numeric related topic. This week's topic, what is a medium weight game? So over on the Board Game Geek, they have a rating system for weights of game. They rate the games from 1 to 5. 3 is considered medium weight. So I looked at the Board Game Geek top 500 games of all time, and I found 3 games that have exactly a 3 weight rating. Those games are Amerigo, a Steffenfeld tile-laying game. Shakespeare, a game where you're putting on a play, which all has a little bit of tile placement too. And Santa Maria, wouldn't you know it, tile placement. So apparently, tile placement games are medium weight. But all that's too easy for By the Numbers. We gotta look at the stats. So we looked at the top 500 games of all time. We averaged all their weights and came up with a 2.770923 weight. The closest game to that weight is Imperial Settlers with a 2.7706. But wait, there's more. We're going to look at the median. So we're going to put all those games in a row from 1 to 500. We're going to look right in the middle, which is game 250 and 251, because there's an even number of games. And those two games are Suburbia and Elysium. So the next time you need to describe a game as mid-weight, you have 3 ways to describe it and 6 games. You have Imperial Settlers, which has the average weight. You have Elysium and Suburbia, which has the median weight. And you have 3 games that have the Board Game Geek 3 medium weight average: Amerigo, Shakespeare, and Santa Maria. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Lloyd. This is Gaming with the People friends. Gaming with the people. You got my farts. Today we play Yeti. It's Yeti in your spaghetti. Yeti in your spaghetti.
Yeti in your spaghetti.
Yeti in your spaghetti. Pick one noodle at a time. Not supposed to let the Yeti fall in your bowl because he'll eat all your food. We take turns falling noodles. Boy, but approve this game. Why will approve this game?
Welcome to The Pitch.
Hi, Ilka.
Hi, Dave.
I was thinking about buying a game.
No.
Too soon?
Way too soon.
It's just awful outside, isn't it? Then you think, out there in the world, I mean, it's well and truly winter, almost. You can tell because I'm wearing a sweater and I've lit some candles. Outside is terrible. And it has been for weeks. And it will be for months, at least here in Britain, where almost everything is terrible. That's why something that I'm hugely late to the table with is very important to me now. And that's Tabletop Simulator. And that thing you can get on Steam, where you can play games online with people. I've been playing it kind of a lot and really become part of my board gaming hobby. That makes sense? I play with just a handful of people I already know in the real world but don't get a chance to see very often because of the ocean. It really feels like you're really actually playing a game. At least it's the closest tabletop simulator. Oh, I get it now. It's the closest facsimile you can have to really playing a game. You have to really move the pieces and really flip the table and then just reset it. And then do it again. And then reset it. And then make 1,000 dice appear, which is almost always funny. I'm not antisocial. I'm just not very social. Is that antisocial? I'm not quite sure. Maybe I am antisocial. I don't have a local game group. Even though there is a local game group, I just haven't managed to muster up the courage to go. But Tabletop Simulator, it doesn't replace playing games with people. But it comes pretty close, you know. And I found myself playing games, and then when the game's over, just hanging out round a digital table, talking to someone. And that's almost as good as just playing a game.
And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys for our live gaming that we'll be doing over the next couple days. I'll be doing a Q&A first tomorrow, and then we'll go right into the gaming after that. I'm excited about this coming week. I'm excited to spend time with my family and friends at Thanksgiving. I'm excited in a week and a half to be at the PAX convention in Philadelphia, so that'll be fun to be at. And then we just start steamrolling towards the end of the year. Whew. So much stuff going on. Well, but that's it for this show. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching Board Game Breakfast on the Dice Tower.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.